You should be warned, the upcoming episode will be full of unfiltered, off-the-cuff discussion. As such, you should consider this your spoiler warning.
Hello, my name is Kyle.
My name is Ryan.
And when our powers combine, we form
Experience Grind Podcast.
You know, we're not the only podcast with 2 or 3 nerdy white dudes talking about bullshit that doesn't matter. But we're not the worst.
No, but I am my own worst enemy.
You are, and you're also our biggest detractor of the show.
It's not good.
No.
This show's not good.
I got to get you on board with the show that you co-host. Somehow, someday.
I guess that's the thing is I don't treat this like a show I co-host. I just show up for the booze.
Well, Ryan, it's a very special episode today.
It is.
Because we're joined by our good friend, and we're doing a yearly check-in with our good friend Dan from Block Interval, who is he's also a developer of Life of Lawn. If you haven't checked out our previous episode with them, you can find it in the comments, because I'm going to link it again, even though I just linked it the other day.
This will be kind of a follow-up episode, but I don't think you'll have to have seen the first episode or listen to it. I think you're fine if you just want to listen to this one too. So you don't have to have listened to that one.
So hi, Dan. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for coming.
Of course, man. Yeah, it was not a bad trip, honestly. The drive kind of sucked for a little bit, but that's just because traffic
Indiana was really boring.
Oh man, the traffic is just awful.
And I was born there, so I can tell you.
Oh man,
Yeah.
You made the man. By the way, your fucking neighborhood is fantastic. We came
Thanks.
in. It was.
I did it myself.
Yeah, I could tell. It's got the touch of a master.
Oh, K-pop.
And it's a bunch of old people here.
I could tell. Yeah, there were
rich
old people
people.
like using a chainsaw across the street when we pulled up, and I was like, getting a bit of a horror movie vibe from this.
Yeah.
It's like
But-
Pleasantville.
Yeah.
Everything's going a little bit too
It
nicely.
is very Pleasantville here. And this is Gooby. It's Morty, actually. His nickname is Gooby.
Yeah, he's a sweet dog. Last time we were here, he had the worst gas.
Yeah, I think
ever.
he's doing better today.
I've not smelled a Gooby
No,
fart
I
yet,
haven't smelled
so
any
that's
either.
good. Yeah. It's a good start to the episode. We'll see how it goes as we progress, but we're gonna be checking in, man. So, Dan, you are a VR game developer.
Something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you at least pretend to be that.
I'm trying to do that. Trying to do that. And by developer, I guess maybe you can clarify sort of steering a project.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, I'm not a programmer, but yeah.
Would you say
In
you're
a
more of the
larger sense.
director?
Yeah, I'm more of a director.
You
Okay.
are the David Jaffe
Creative director.
of Block Interval.
Sure.
The Hideo Kojima.
Sure, yeah. The guy who's kind of directing and producing, trying to get it made.
All right, man. I respect that. So, this is obviously a big passion project for you.
Yeah.
Like, where did it all start? Like, why did you even want to get into this?
Well, I've been interested in VR. Nintendo Power, you guys remember that?
Oh, yeah.
In 1997, they had a contest. Did I tell you this story?
I can't remember.
I don't think so.
I don't
They
think
had a
so, yeah.
contest, and you had to draw a cover of a Nintendo Power in 2064.
Okay.
And this was for the release of the N64. That's why they did this contest. So I drew like a VR headset that had like a face thing on it and called it the Nintendo 64. And the winning entry was actually had a similar thing on it, but it was like a band, and it was more computer generated than mine. Mine was very hand drawn.
Okay.
So I lost the contest. But anyways, I've been interested in VR for 20 years now, I guess, since I was a kid, and it wasn't really until advances in VR hit a certain point where I felt
Yeah.
like I could, do something with it.
VR's kind of hit this weird resurgence, similar to 3D, where like it was really cool in like the 80s and 90s, but the technology wasn't there to really match it.
I'm gonna say this is bigger than when 3D happened because
Yeah, I'm
3D
just saying, like now 3D movies are big again, and VR has also kind of come back.
Yeah.
I'm not
Well,
comparing the two.
Let me explain why I think this is a big jump, and it goes beyond what VR is and more about what we're talking about, like sort of altering our perception using technology.
Let's get deep, bro.
Yeah, so I mean, we're gonna have we have augmented reality, we have virtual reality, we have mixed reality, which is where you're filming stuff that's part video and part computer generated, and we've seen like with Pokemon Go where a lot of people there were sort of real world effects that happened, but.
That would be considered more of an AR.
Yeah, that's augmented reality. And
for our layman viewers, because you're all dumb for watching the show.
I think the important part here is that when the internet first came out, it was bound to a computer. It was like sitting on a desk, And now the internet is starting to come out into not only just the world, like where we are in our daily lives, but we're also using it. We're also entering it through our senses in different ways, and we're going to start doing that more as devices start to come out that are fundamentally like there's been a paradigm shift. That's the most important thing that's different. It's not strictly speaking one technology. It's that everybody's thinking about how can we use technology to access the internet and access content in different ways than we currently can right now.
Sure. Okay.
So a lot more people are thinking big, and that means advances in medicine and advances in behavioral health, games, of course, film, rides. It's gonna continue to build and build, and experiences will crop up that have just been simply impossible before. Yeah. So I think that's where it's fundamentally different with 3D. It's like, 3D TVs, it's like that's all there is. It's 3D. It's so cool. Virtual and augmented reality, it's a paradigm shift, and it really is going to result in entirely new ways to live. We're going to be doing things we can't even conceive of in 5 or 10 years.
Yeah.
I really like that you brought up like medicine, because that opens up all these crazy doors with like surgery.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just all kinds of ridiculousness, and people that have like say a fear of heights, you slap a VR headset on them and let them slowly adjust to a height thing in the safety of their own living room.
Absolutely.
And like take the anxiety away, things of that nature.
Go even further and think about like when we finally understand the human brain well enough, and we can use VR to help people deal with disorders, mental disorders, and things that are way too complicated for humans to kind of assist with. But through altered perception, you might be able to change that. So anyways, there's the term cyberdelic that's been coined.
I've never heard that, but I already like it.
Yeah, and
can you use that in a sentence? Give
sure.
the definition of cyberdelic.
Yeah, I had a cyberdelic experience playing a VR game, and it widened my understanding of my own consciousness.
So, basically, psychedelic kind of, but cyberdelic.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, we can trigger a kind of a psychedelic state in people, and cause them to perceive reality in a larger sense than they did before they sat down and did it. And that's what psychedelics do. They open up other parts of your brain and cause you to think in ways that you couldn't normally do unassisted by chemicals. So, by just using the sight and sound, we can achieve some of those same results without any kind of chemical change.
You saying that, like, it reminds me of the very first time we came up here, because before we even met you, I had absolutely zero exposure to VR. My first experience was here in your living room now, and the first time we played your game, man, I remember it gave me an almost primal response, like that opening segment when, like, I remember very vividly my heart racing and, like, I got a little fucking nervous, because it is like, it takes you into an element that like a lot of normal gameplay and stuff can't do, outside of like maybe a horror game where they're setting up this weird atmosphere and then they're going to jump scare you.
Right.
Like it is a completely different level, and it is a bit infantile, because it's starting out as like a whole new thing, like learning what is going to get these responses out of people. But you can see potential there even now.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of science being done. I mean, we're like 2 years into the people making content for this, and it's like very, very new.
Yes,
so everyone is like, "What's going on?" You know, yeah. So the kinds of experiences you'll see in 5 years, 10 years, it's going to be amazing. Oh, am I? Sorry. I'm going to keep my mic a little closer to my face now.
So, a year, or as we've said before, we saw you like a year ago. Now, in between the last time we saw you, what kind of like any big hurdles or challenges have you really seen yourself coming up against in your prolonged development of your game Life of Lawn?
Oh, man. I think some of the biggest hurdles I've been facing have been personal, like maintaining my own mental health, things like that.
I can imagine it's very taxing trying to create a game, like even in your spare time.
Yeah, like if you're trying to hold down a day job and take care of kids and then make a game on the side and fund it by yourself, it's like it's a massive undertaking. So it's kind of then we about a year ago I was going on expos. I went and did the VR World Congress in the UK. I
remember you went to the UK,
SVVR and
shortly after we came and visited.
Right, and getting back from all those, I was exhausted just from being around people. I'm an introvert. I want to be in my room, and here I am like on another continent, with a lot of other people, and it was very stressful and taxing. And then when I got back, this project has actually cost me two day jobs already.
Jeez.
So I'm focusing a lot more on my day job now, but that sort of hit to the financial thing is also very difficult. Because you want the project to continue, but you also have to feed your family. So it's like now you gotta so now you gotta step away from the project and work on the day job to keep everything moving. So there's been a lot of struggles like that, and basically just people on the team running out of steam to invest time that's not really well compensated, and I can understand that because the project's been going for 2.5 years, and it's like. At what point are we going to start making any money? And the answer is, I have no idea, if at all or ever. So I guess that's really where it is. It's like you can have all the passion in the world, but you have to have the strength to be able to pull it off. You have to have the spirit, to do it. So the last month or two, I've been. Trying to deprioritize certain parts of the game that I was really heavily investing in and focus on my physical health, my mental health, and things like that, and think about what's the strategy of what we're going to do next. We have a lot that we can show, and I've always been worried about showing it before it's far enough along, but we just may be at the point where we have to say, okay, we're going to make all kinds of caveats and tell people, we understand there's rough edges, but if you can just see what we're trying to do, maybe people will get behind what we're trying to do. So we'll see.
I would feel if EA can release Mass Effect Andromeda in the state that it was in, I think what I've seen from you guys...
I don't know.
or if Square could release Final Fantasy 15 in the shape it was.
For real, it's amazing to me what you guys have accomplished with the small team that you have done. I'm a huge fan of video games, and just seeing what you have actually fucking made is mind-blowing to me, because there is a fucking thing there. You created this thing in a digital virtual world, and it works, man.
It works, and it's pretty fantastic.
Yeah,
I think it's a... I know you have some hesitations or worries about the future and where the project will take you, but I think ultimately you're going to have a really, really solid portfolio piece. And I think that's going to be a good thing going forward.
Yeah.
Regardless. And let's say this does get your kind of foot in the door. Is this like the kind of... all your experience developing this game, would this be something you would want to do as a full-time job? Would you like to maybe move into this? Or is this still just like you just want it to keep at hobby length?
No, I mean I would love to get this game funded and work on it full time. Everybody's working on the project wants to do that. You know, we're all most of us working in related fields, but I think we all would love to be making this game. But it would certainly have to be sort of stable enough financially for people to be able to quit their jobs and do that. We'd probably need to have a year or two of money sitting around ready to go. So yeah, I mean that makes it harder to crowdfund and stuff too, because VR hasn't really been funded at the high level that we need to make a game of this. If you're going to hire 10 people at industry rate for 2 years, that's going to be a decent chunk of money. So
I think the problem too, like again, we talked about VR being in the early stages. It also hasn't reached the broad mass market appeal, whereas an indie PC game, everybody's got a fucking PC that can run a pixel game, but getting a VR game crowdfunded, it's still in that niche market. Yeah. So
I think getting any game funded,
for sure,
not an easy
absolutely
proposition.
Not. It's harder with VR because VR seems like it has the difficulty of selling itself, because it's a more tactile experience than like the idea of a 3D game or something. Like when we made that shift, like you could see that, you could advertise that. It's hard to advertise the actual experience of being in a game, like just how unique it is to like be able to look around you and all the space that's there. I said this last time and I still fucking did it again this time, which is like, you're sitting in the fucking movie theater in the VR, and like that's enough to fucking wow me.
Right.
And it's pretty sad, and that's before you even get into like the game with like the design, atmosphere, and the visuals. Like it's still just impressive to like see the environment.
Yeah, I mean, so this kind of is all related to where we are in the timeline of the hardware and what's getting made, and I mean we're really close. We're like right around the bend from some really big changes. Like the Vive is gonna go wireless here soon.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And then they're also gonna start releasing mobile headsets that can do more. That can work harder. And so, luckily with our senses, we have a cap to our resolution of the eyes. It's something, I don't know what it's like, 24K or something per eye, something like that. I don't remember. It's a high number, but we'll eventually get there. The technology will eventually get there. And then once that happens, mobile will be behind, but it will eventually get there too. And, we'll finally, 5 or 10 years down the line, we'll have hardware that is in some ways indistinguishable from real life, you know what I mean, as far as like resolution and latency and things like that. So that change is going to it's going to get more people into it, because they're going to find it nearly indistinguishable from reality. People who can't, photogrammetry, videogrammetry, these are techniques that are being worked on that will show, they can have cameras in an environment and show it in a three-dimensional sense, and you can move around your head around and things in the environment, even though it's video footage, and still see around stuff. So there's changes that are coming in how video will work fundamentally that are going to make people want to switch over. So the first time you see a film that is like that,
it's going to be
everyone will switch over, because they'll be like, we won't be able to enjoy going and looking at a flat film anymore. We're going to want to see it like that way.
We don't want to live it.
Right.
And I think again that's a similar reaction to what I have when I'm playing your game and stuff. It's such a different experience, man. Like it's so hard to describe. But it gets you on this level, like you're involved more. You feel like more like it's actually happening to you. It's also like,
way to play it cool, Kyle. You son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch.
It's we talked about it being the niche market too, but I think also it could benefit you in the sense of getting something out earlier, because there's also not a lot out there for people to choose from.
Right.
So getting something new, even for people that do have the technology, like that's something that people are going to notice. And can really help out too. So, I mean, if you can get established as like, hey, we're the Life of Lon guys.
Sure.
So, I mean, it's this weird, like, almost limbo type area where it's bad because there's not a lot, but it's also good because there's not a lot. So
yeah,
it's easier to get noticed. It's not like this the Steam store where there's like 20,000 games that are garbage and like 300-400 good ones, and so they just get buried.
Right.
Sure. You're talking about, I want to go back to the future kind of as you see it and where VR is going with the technology.
Okay.
Do you worry about the price point also being a barrier to entry? Because the headsets are a little expensive, and then you also have to have the computer to run it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the worst now that it ever will be.
Yeah. Yes. It's obviously going to get better, but do you think... I guess my question more so than do you think it's going to be a barrier is necessarily when do you see you getting like the Costco version, like the VR that you're going to see just average Joe and Bob buy at the store, like I guess a good medium ground, like
it's not going to be. I don't think going to be like that. Actually, I think
really
no. I think where most people will end up with VR is when or AR is when Apple releases some kind of device with their phones and makes it cool and sexy and people want it. Sure. It's not going to be like having a VR headset on the shelf at Walmart doesn't make people want to buy it. So the reality is people won't want to buy into VR and AR until they have a good enough reason to. Mm-hmm. And a pretty good reason to would be as if you could get some kind of AR glasses with your next iPhone that came free, and you could wear them and interact with all of your same apps and everything you already do, but through gestures and things like that. Of course people would use it if it came with it and whatever. And, Apple's working on it. So it's really kind of, there's a zeitgeist situation that we're facing right now that's not really related to just, it is partially because of cost, but it's also kind of what's available and what's the motivation behind using it.
That's the big one.
It's sort of like everyone who knows technology knows that the paradigm here is really big, but it's a very big mountain to develop content for it because we are still trying to grasp and understand our own consciousness. So, it's a bit like painting a picture of something when it's not in focus and you can't really make out what you're painting. We're all kind of trying to make something, and we have some kind of glimmer of what it is, but we don't really quite know what it is.
Like impressionist painting.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like how we ended up to mobile and smartphones and things like that. There are some paradigms with smartphones with touch that you think, oh, that's obvious, duh, of course, you should touch your phone, and right? But nobody was thinking that way, 10, 15 years ago. Everyone thought phones had buttons, and that's how they always should work. So, there's like a shift that happens where somebody innovates and comes up with a natural evolution of the technology, and everyone goes, oh, duh, and then they all start using it. So we're kind of waiting for that next kind of oh, duh moment to happen, and my money would be on a company like Apple, who's notorious for not necessarily inventing the wheel, but like making the wheel shiny and marketable and making
refining it more.
Maybe, basically building you a new wheel every year that when the old one breaks and forces you to buy the new one, basically. But yeah. Apple are the king of planned obsolescence.
I think it would have been on Google, but it seems in the race, Oculus is not necessarily the leader so far.
I'm not necessarily convinced yet that any of the current players will be who makes all the money in the next generation. It may not be the hardware manufacturers. It may be someone else. So the hardware may become a moot point, in 5 or 10 years. We might just all have cheap hardware, and it might all be excellent hardware, like the cell phone. I mean, there came a threshold. There came a point where you go and you pay your contract and you pay $25 a month, and you get the top of the line best cell phone, and it's amazing, and it has an amazing camera, and it can do everything. It's a very fast, powerful computer, and you're not actually buying the top of the line shit. You're not paying top of the line prices.
No,
you're just paying your $25 a month or whatever for your phone, and that's just how it goes. Well, eventually, the VR and AR hardware will get to that point. It's just ubiquitous and cheap, and everyone's like, yeah, all right, sure. If I want my AR, I can get it. Mm-hmm. And we might not call it VR and AR. It might just be, your cell phone glasses accessory or something, and people just see it that way.
Not to pat you on the back too hard, but I think that's a brilliant idea. I didn't even think about that, like the contract kind of plan of the VR. Yeah. Like it could be
cell phones
a company like that.
AR is where cell phones are going.
Yeah. That's a very
your noodle looks like
good
it's
insight.
Bacon, man. Is your noodle bacon?
No,
or something.
I just have
happened.
We got kind of off on cell phones, and I kept thinking of this little tangent I saw that cell phones were getting smaller and smaller with like the button style until we realized that we could watch porn on it.
Yeah,
and then they suddenly got bigger and more focused on the screen, and that just kept popping into my mind. But it also kind of ties in because, as much as people don't like to admit it, I think one of the, especially early adopters of things that get taken off, is pornography. Like, honestly, like VHS won out because
talk about VR porn.
Well, I think it will get there. I mean,
no, it's already there.
I know it. Absolutely, it's there, and I think that will be another big push. Like with, like a fleshlight or even like a real sex doll. Like,
did you just compare VR to a fleshlight?
I mean, using a fleshlight with
VR, like using it in tandem, like that's.
No. David Cronenberg made movies that warn against this. This is a bad fucking idea. This is existent.
It's totally.
Yeah, I got news for you. It exists.
This is bad.
It already exists.
But like,
wait.
Seems to be
have you messed around with VR porn?
Yes, I have.
Oh yeah.
I want to hear first-hand report on this because this fascinates me. Like. Was it immersive? Were you able to just completely zone out and be like, and accept this, or were you like very aware that you are in VR?
What was the actor?
I mean, I've seen a few videos.
Okay.
I can't necessarily name. I think Marna Miller did one. I don't know.
I don't know her, but anyway. Okay, sorry.
She's a Spanish.
I feel like if sound engineer Andy does his job, a picture of Marna Miller will appear behind us. Oh, we don't have the green screen. You can still do it. You're a champ. You're a technical champ.
Yeah,
Marna Miller is right here.
Beautiful woman. Trump would approve, I suppose. She's beautiful. Most beautiful woman. Yeah. So I guess to answer your question though, I don't know. I guess you don't watch porn because it's steak. You watch it because it's a hamburger and it's good and it fills you up. And
there you go.
But it doesn't it's not like it's, what it is. It's a fantasy. It's just like watching a movie. I'm not like, I'm Aragorn. No, I mean, I watch fucking movies so I can live through Aragorn and enjoy, and that's cool to me. So
is it just like a shot like a normal porn is, but you can move in the space?
No, it's shot. They put a camera like typically over the actor's
so it's first person
head,
view,
and the person's either laying down or sitting down or standing.
Okay,
and there's sort of a 180 kind of wraparound view, and it's.
That seems like it would be more like, hey, I am Aragorn, like I am inside of this chick right now. Oh my god!
I don't know how to describe it really. It's entertainment. I don't know, and it
seems like
it's no substitute for
the real thing.
The real thing, or even sitting at a computer. It's just its own thing. And
so it is different from sitting at a computer and watching porn.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Interesting.
It's somewhere in the middle, really. It's somewhere halfway between sitting at a computer and the real thing.
It's fascinating.
But it's not. But if you did it, I'm not convinced that you would be like, I want to do this all the time.
Fair enough.
Okay. You're not going to become addicted and fall into.
Well, I don't even know if that's the case. I just don't know if it's. I mean, you're wearing a headset and you're blocked out from the world, and you know what I mean. It's.
Can't see if somebody's opening the door because you've got the noise canceling headphones on, and you're cranking down.
Yeah. So
it's got to be like
looking like Wolverine as X-23 escaping the system by just masturbating in your chair.
Right. Exactly.
You got the candles all lit, and then you
Bukkake barrage.
You hear your roommate open the door, and you're like, oh my God, what? No. Get out, Tony. It's my time.
Oh, shit.
Fuck. So I guess, all right, so hypotheticals here.
Yeah.
After Life of Lon.
Sorry, we talked about VR porn for so much of this Life of Lon segment.
Okay, so
oh man,
or alternate reality.
Yeah.
Are you interested in another VR game, or would you do something more standard in the industry? Like, and if you did, what would your dream game be?
Well, I can't say what my dream game would be, but I would like to tell you about the kind of fun project that I'm working on with my kids.
Okay.
Because they have both learned different aspects of game development a little bit here and there. Like my daughter has used this thing called Bitsbox, and it's a monthly box that comes and teaches you how to code and build little apps and stuff.
That's excellent.
That's cool.
Bitsbox.
How old is your daughter, and what age is this
7.
for? It can be utilized by a child that young.
Yes, definitely.
Oh, that's awesome.
But she's pretty smart, so I don't know,
So maybe not every 7-year-old.
I don't know if every 7-year-old could do it, but...
I've met a lot of 7-year-olds,
and then
some of them are dumb.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're all pretty dumb. And then my son uses Modbox. It's a VR game, and you can build games in the game, kind of.
Okay.
So... we've been working on our own game, and first of all, I have to tell you the name of the studio that they came up with. They both came up with half of the name, and then I stitched it together. It's called Alan Corp Rocket Crew.
Okay.
That's the name of the studio.
I fucking love that already.
Alan Corp Rocket Crew. And the
ACRC, I think it works.
And the game that we're working on is called Dr. Doggy versus the Disease.
Damn. This sounds awesome.
What disease?
Just Dr. Doggy has a disease. You get to pick a male or female Dr. Doggy at the beginning, and it'll be a top-down sprite-based thing, and there will be a day-night cycle, and Dr. Doggy goes from house to lab and back and forth trying to cure the disease. So you have to keep your health up and experiment in the lab on rats and develop medicines, bring them home, take the right dose. Dude. And whatnot. That's the plan behind the full game.
This sounds badass.
It'd be fun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then I want this mechanic in there that I'm going to build a prototype called Press T to Think. And so it's basically you just move around, and every time you hit T, you'll get a thought bubble of what your character is thinking about at that given point. And so where you are in front of what you're looking at, or where you are, or what's been going on, you would see different thoughts.
Okay, so it's not just randomized; it's context.
It's not randomized; it's contextual.
Okay,
and so I want to combine that with Dr. Doggy and have thinking be a component of the game, where you learn about clues about what to do next, or you're doing experiments and you have to think far enough down the line as to what's going on, and then you get a clue as to where to go or what to do, things like that. So that's the premise of the game that we're looking at making right now.
I'm 100% on board, because anytime you do something like that where no other game is really doing that,
right,
I think that's fascinating and worth exploring.
I like this idea, and I like that you're making it with your kids, man. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah. I just need to learn how to program. I don't really know how to program.
I don't need anybody.
I'm learning. I'm trying to learn.
I hear there's this program called Bitbox.
Bitsbox. Yeah.
Bitsbox.
Yeah. I need to go through that whole program. Actually, that would be good for me.
You can have your daughter teach.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's my dream project really, but it is. It may be something that I put some more time into.
Okay, I like that.
Work on.
So I forget where on our.
I got a question.
Where were we?
Yeah, go ahead. Here we go. All right.
And this is gonna start to get off topic, but hey, Dan, I just like talking.
Sure,
to you, so
let's
it's
do
okay.
it.
VR has now been out for about a year. It's kind of getting its legs.
That's really on topic, by the way.
Lots of
Yeah.
Lots of.
Continue.
Well, I guess it's off topic of Life of Lon.
Oh yeah,
and it's going to be very ancillary. It's just about VR.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about VR.
So it's been out for a year. There's been some good experiences I've heard of. What's been your favorite experience so far in VR?
Probably Space Pirate Trainer. I've probably put over 100 hours into that.
Wow. I've heard some good things
and I lost
this.
about 10 pounds, too, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you explain the game real quick in a nutshell? Because I'm not familiar with it.
Okay, so you stand on a platform. It's like you're Han Solo holding a couple of blasters, and all these robots fly up, and you're switching to different kinds of weapons and shooting them, and they're shooting at you, so you got to move around in the play space to avoid getting hit. You get 3 hits, you're dead. And it's very Galaga-esque in the sort of way that the waves come up, and and then the power-ups come up and that can superpower you and things like that. So there's a lot of movement, there's a lot of, the music's really good, and it's a game that you'll really get lost in VR. Yeah.
It sounds fun, and it
It's
sounds like
awesome.
the kind of game
It's
that
amazing.
just you can keep playing forever.
Absolutely.
Getting better, tweaking.
Yeah, because you want
here and
to
there.
beat your high score, and there's a global high score and everything. So, I think I got up to somewhere in like the 25, top 25 or so of the globally for the score.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was doing okay, and then I stopped practicing, and I wasn't able to do as well.
How many people are on the leaderboard?
A
Are
lot,
there 27?
Yeah. No, there's a lot. Yeah, no, there's thousands. Yeah,
Okay,
there's a lot of people playing the game.
That's a great feat then.
Yeah, but it's a fantastic game. And I was going to say something else about the scoring, but I can't remember what I was going to say. So, anyways, I would say honorable mention would be Google Earth. Because
in VR.
Because you can fly around to any location you want around the whole around the whole world, and it's a really I don't know how to say it. It's an eye-opening experience because you get to see the Earth in a way you've never seen it before. You get to feel like you're Superman, like flying around and seeing the Earth all the way from up in space down all the way to. You can stand on top of the Sears Tower if you want, or go to the Grand Canyon, or really anywhere you want. It's been modeled, and it looks beautiful.
How realistic does it look?
Pretty realistic.
Yeah?
Yeah, it looks really good.
So on the scale between like perfect realism and then like looking at a photograph, like if you want to rate it on like a 100% scale, like how close are we to realistic?
It to the untrained eye, to the person who's not a video gamer, they're gonna see it and maybe even have a difficulty distinguishing it from reality.
Really?
Because those type of people will not be dialed into things like resolution like we would, and
your
polygons
average Joe idiot.
Yeah, your average Joe. Well, I mean, maybe somebody who's not as technically inclined.
For sure, yeah.
Graphically, I guess I would say it's like PS3 level or like early PS4 level graphics, somewhere in that range.
So it's still not bad at all.
It looks good.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to see it. But it's sort of the whole picture is formed by the lighting. The lighting engine is very good, so that compensates for a lot of the texture and things, the problems in the in the modeling itself. But it's just an amazing experience.
Where have been some of your favorite places to go in Google Earth? You say talking about like going on the Sears Tower, anywhere you want.
Yeah, standing on the Sears Tower. I've gone to Horseshoe Canyon, and like checked out a lot of places in like Greenland and Iceland and stuff, and seeing what like a lot of these frozen areas look like in Europe and things like that. So, and I went to the Middle East. I've been to Japan. And a bunch of islands out in the Pacific and things, Hawaii. So it's been really cool. Google Earth, try it. It's good.
It's
it's amazing.
I bet. Well, the very first game I ever bought on Steam, when I bought Steam, was I think it's called Universe Sandbox.
Yeah, I actually have a friend. He works on Life of Lon. He now works at Universe Sandbox.
Really?
Yeah, Dave Nelson.
Excellent. Way to go, Dave.
Yeah. So
I love that game. It was literally the first game I ever bought.
Yeah.
I think that would do really well in a VR environment.
It is in VR.
They
do have it in VR.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. That's pushing me more towards getting a headset.
Yeah.
What's the Universe Sandbox?
It's exactly how it sounds.
It is exactly
it's
what
just
it sounds
like a big open world you can make.
Big open
anything.
universe. Like
yeah.
So there's like planet Earth.
Okay.
You're like basically God. I mean, you can throw 2 moons over here and see what the gravity does to that. It's got like real life physics.
Okay, so
You
there's
can
some simulations
shit
going
together.
on.
Yeah,
It's not just,
you
You
can
can take
throw-
one star versus another
Yeah,
star.
throw
Okay.
2 stars and watch them like pull stuff in because they've got humongous mass.
okay.
It's really cool stuff to fuck around with, especially when you're under the influence of drugs.
Yeah, I mean VR when you're in an altered state of mind is
Ooh, I bet,
amazing.
man.
It's very different. Yeah.
As I was stating to these guys on the trip up, I think my one of my life goals is to someday eat mushrooms and play
Yeah.
Rez with like a headset and headphones on.
I don't know what Rez is. What's
Oh
Rez?
man, Rez is this crazy.
Oh, I think I know
yeah,
what it
it's like
is.
an on-rail shooter with like that. It's based around like techno music.
Yeah, I
Came
think
with
what-
vibrating controllers
and what
that
you're doing
you,
in the game controls like
put in your
it
crotch.
changes how the music develops.
nice. Yeah,
It's
okay.
a wild,
I know
wild
what it is.
game. Yeah,
Yeah.
But they it's on PlayStation VR now. It was like a big thing they released on it.
Oh, that's cool.
So I would like to do that at some point in my life.
vibrating controllers.
I remember they made those too for the PS2 version. I think they were only in Japan though.
Yeah, because people were using them inappropriately.
It was only no, I'm sorry, not PS2. It was only for the Dreamcast. It was like a little thing because Rez started out on the
It
Dreamcast.
might have been PS2 as well. It might have been Dreamcast and PS2, and then they stopped production right away.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because people used them to masturbate. Everybody uses
I mean,
everything
come on.
to masturbate though. Surprise.
Especially in Japan.
All right. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So
Obviously.
I don't think I asked this. Oh yeah, the extension cord that's going right up the old butthole.
So
All
next
of it.
question: What's the?
Somebody's asked.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I don't think I asked this last time, but I'm just curious. I like where the names of these things come from. The development company, Block Interval. Where's that from? Did you come up with that name?
Yeah, I came up with that name. I don't know. I just really liked. I came up.
I mean,
I came up with
stands
the
out,
name
yeah.
before the studio, and
Okay.
Artistically, a lot of things have come to me that I just try to have open hands, and when it comes, I take it and go. That's better than I would have come up with if I just sat and like tried to come up
pushed
with
it out,
it.
yeah,
Like
for
tried to
sure.
shit it out. It just you have to let it come when it comes, and so it's just one of those things that came like people created a painting about a rainy night, and it's like, why did you create that painting? Well, because it was in me, and I had it had to come out, and it came out, and it looked like this.
I like it. I like
So
the
that's
new.
the answer.
I don't know if it's new, but it's the first time I noticed it playing the game today. You have the Block Interval logo, but
Yeah.
I just like the block actually spins
Yeah.
in the B. It's a
Yeah.
nice subtle little touch, but I like that.
I'm glad you like that.
It's very cool.
Typography's fun.
I don't know
Typography
much
is
about
fun.
that. You're the designer guy, so you pick up on that.
Dan's also a designer guy.
I am a designer guy.
Graphic
Yeah.
designer?
Yeah,
I mean,
same. Yeah, we
I
talked
did all
about this
the
last
design
time.
for
I don't
our-
remember this.
For our
It was
website
after the
and-
podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan does all our design work. He makes everything. I just tell him like do this, and he does it.
I do.
That's what he does.
Yeah, it's a very give take relationship.
You give him the work and he takes
That's
it.
right. That's right.
Yeah,
I get
that's how
it.
partners work.
One of the things I wanted, this is something that came up at the very beginning of the episode, and I've wanted to talk about it. It's funny to me because you talked about the development of this game, and one of the big challenges is, people sticking around, people wanting to take part, the burnout aspect of it, and what's funny to me is that up until I really started focusing on this, since I was like 16, I've been a musician. I've been in bands. I'm a drummer. And that is the exact same thing that always happens. And you get this band together, things are going great, and things, you will always reach a sort of a plateau, and then it's trying to figure out how to take that next step up and reach that next area.
Yeah.
But you're always, I had people that had burnout, and I've reached it myself. I've finally reached my burnout point where it's like I just don't want to fucking deal with this anymore. It's just crazy to me how similar the indie game market is to the indie music scene, where like you're looking for the same goals, you're trying to achieve the same things, but through completely different means, and they don't really affect each other.
Well, I think part of it is like no storm lasts forever, you know, and there are always conditions that happen that cause a storm to coalesce. And when those conditions are right, the storm comes, but then the conditions change and the storm goes. And that's just how it goes in nature. Everything is cyclical. This is the Tao, you know what I mean? Yeah. Everything is cyclical. So,
Ka is a wheel.
Yeah, exactly. Ka is a wheel. And the Katet comes around, and then they disband, you know?
Everything's coming up 19, brother.
Right. So, and all things serve the beam. Right. But anyways, I'm looking forward to that movie, by the way. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how Edris
there we are. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
But anyways.
So projects come and go, and nobody has stamina forever.
Yeah.
And I think life is always changing. So you have, you know, a group of people, 3, 5, 10 people come together, and their lives are a certain way, and then the inevitable things happen. Kids are born, and life changes, and money situations change, and family members get sick and pass, and things. All kinds of things happen, and that all those life circumstances prevent the storm to continue in the way that it does, and that's why it has to wind down.
In the words of Jeff Goldblum, life finds a way.
Life finds a way
to not only continue, but to also completely change everything you've had planned.
Yes.
I also like you had talked about, you know, you could have the most perfect fucking idea ever, but if it's not at the right time, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Or if you don't have the energy.
Yeah, that too.
You have to have the stamina to carry it.
That again, that ties over to that independent music scene, man. Like there was a couple of bands I was in. I was like, man, like if just the right people would hear this, it's fucking great. Or I always thought, but you know, of course, obviously the right people never heard it. And
it's lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
I mean, you only hear about the successes. You don't
exactly.
You don't hear about all the people who tried it and something changed or went wrong or whatever. So, I mean, we have this bias that we think, well, because I've only heard of the success stories, I'm going to be successful.
They followed their dream.
They did that.
God damn it, I'm following mine.
Yeah. Don't I deserve it?
Yeah, exactly.
Aren't I the hero of my own story? But the reality is, life is, you know, in a lot of ways, it just how it goes. Whatever, it's going to happen how it happens. And we're gonna try to influence things in some ways or another, but it just kind of happens how it happens.
Saying all that, you know, not to be a discouraging Debbie Downer, I do really, really enjoy what you've created.
Thank you.
I really like it. I respect it, man. It's something I could never even dream of doing, and man.
Well, I learned a lot through the process.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and it's helped keep me employed in other ways and pushed me forward as a person. So, regardless of whether or not we're able to get the game funded, we'll find out. But regardless of that, it's been a net positive.
I think, you know, I would like to see it achieve its inevitable completion. I think you've got a great idea.
I'm glad you feel like it's inevitable.
I think it is. It is inevitable.
We're 1/15 of the way into this.
You do. I did see a lot of chapters you have at least planned. I saw some behind the scenes stuff. I think.
Right.
I want to say, what did you just say? 15?
I let you read the story. I think last time.
Yeah.
Or parts of it. Or
parts
something.
of it.
Yeah.
Is there? You think there's any is that the core 15? Do you see that being cut down in any way?
Not to tell the same story, probably. But, I mean, you know, I think if we may try to get a round of seed funding that will get us past the AI that we need to build to make Chapter 2. And by the time we will be at the end of Chapter 2, when we show what's in 1 and 2, that will be completely everything in the vision of the whole rest of the game. So it's kind of like at that point, I think people will be able to judge whether or not they want to get behind the whole rest of the game.
I gotcha.
So I've spec'd it out around $4 million for the full game. So if you want to get an idea of what the scope of the size of the game is.
Or if anybody out there has $4 million.
You got $4 million laying around and you want to throw it at a great VR game, lifeoflon.com.
Ryan, you're supposed to fill that space.
That dead space.
Experience Grind is also making a VR game that you can fund for $4 million. We will take it too.
Dude, you just always undercut our fucking guess. I love it. We are doing it. It's called Fart 3D.
Would you guys ever think of working in the game industry beyond podcasting or journalism?
As I've always said, it's always been a dream. I always feel like I have great ideas. Like I've kind of, Ryan disagrees, but he disagrees.
Your ideas are
what's
fart
crazy.
Turkeys.
I had the idea for Evolve in a different way before Evolve ever came out.
Yeah, and Evolve was bad.
Evolve is the game where like the 4 people hunt the one person who's playing the giant monster.
Oh, okay.
And it's not fun.
I had this thought of making a game where like one person was a lion, and there's like 4 or 5 people that are a pack of hyenas, and like so like the lion's super powerful, and it's trying to like get to these carcasses. And
that's not a bad idea.
It was, and literally like a month later, Evolve is announced, and I'm like, holy shit, that's way better than what I had thought up. But then it obviously tanked too.
Yeah, it was not good.
No,
it was not good.
Yeah, I mean, just because an idea supposedly has been done, it may have been done poorly.
Yeah. So I mean, there's still something out there. I thought that was a cool, fun idea, but I don't know. But I've always had this pipe dream of making games. I love games to death. Mm-hmm. I've had a similar pipe dream about making movies. Not so much making them, I like to act, even though I'm very subpar at it.
See, that's where I'm not so much like, if I had to sell my soul to get what I wanted or whatever, right? I wouldn't go video game route, I go movie route.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I'm more knowledgeable and could do more there. I feel like I like video games, and I think I really like them, but I don't know if I know them as well. I don't know if I know how to innovate in video games as much as I wouldn't like. I know what I'm not seeing in movies now, and like I can pinpoint that with accuracy. I can't do that with games. This is coming from a guy who is still playing Dynasty Warriors and loving them. So obviously my taste in games is suspect at best.
Play that new Berserk.
I want to. I want to.
I hear it's pretty Dynasty Warriors out.
That's right there.
Yeah.
And yeah, Dragon Quest Heroes, same thing. Any Dynasty Warriors type of game, like for some reason, it's my fucking jam. I don't know. What were we even talking about?
We're on Tangent Zone now, buddy. Dan, favorite RPG?
Harmon. Oh.
Favorite RPG?
Yeah, I don't want to go favorite game, but
it can be any RPG, but it has to be Kingdom Hearts.
No, it does not.
Didn't we talk about this?
We
last
did.
Time?
Ryan's been itching at this to come up, and we are complete polar opposites on our appreciation of Kingdom Hearts. Whereas I have a lot, and you have negative 20.
Yeah, a lot.
It's weird because the things you like in Kingdom Hearts and the things you dislike in Kingdom Hearts are all in Final Fantasy 15. I think equally.
No, because...
And yet you both are like so on the same page on 15.
Oh yeah, we should talk about that. Actually, that is an interesting point. Okay, so I want to hear you. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? Because
I don't know if I can. That was like my boom. There goes the dynamite, and like I can step away now.
But I want to hear more. Actually, no. It's so you're saying that when you say that the things that I don't like about Kingdom Hearts, which to me is just Disney, really. It's like that has no business doing.
That's what I remember.
That has no business.
Oh, I felt like you had other reasons.
No, I just think that it doesn't make any sense for to me, anyways, for Final Fantasy to be crossing boundaries with Disney. That just doesn't. I cannot get past that. I just feel like it's sacred ground. You know, like. The stories that Square has created are rich, rich stories about a complex subjects, and Disney is about entertaining kids. It's silly and it's goofy and it's
and what's really crazy
racist anyways.
Like the Kingdom Hearts games could not be played by children. Early Disney was very racist. I totally get what Dan's saying here, man. Watch Song of the South. Tell me that's not fucking racist as hell.
Everything from that time was probably pretty racist.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Looney Tunes is incredibly racist.
It's just they've been around long enough that of course they have some racist skeletons in their closet.
It's irrelevant, but I guess my whole argument or my grievance, I guess, is that. The Final Fantasy series has always been a kind of big Tolkien-esque fantasy.
Sure.
And when you involve like cartoon characters in this fantasy world, kind of, to me, it's like a bastardization. I don't like that, you know?
And I get it.
All right.
I think my love for
All right.
is that what you're asking, or go ahead? Go ahead.
No, I want to counter that point.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, you say Final Fantasy games are these big Tolkien-esque things. I can see that kind of with like the mythology.
The main series.
Yeah.
The offshoots.
Sure.
They go zany.
But I also think there's like kiddie cartoony shit in the Final Fantasy games as well. Like Moogles may as well be a fucking Disney character, you know? You have
Moogles come in and out. This is the thing I love about Final Fantasy.
I don't know about that.
Is that the Moogles also, their influence in each game is subjective based on who's directing at that time.
Sure.
They're a bigger part in 9. They have almost, I don't think they even exist in 8. They're a very small part in 7, whereas like they're a mythical creature that is only exist in like video games and stuffed animals.
To me, this is a difference here between what Kingdom Hearts does, where it merges two universes, with what Final Fantasy does, which is it has its own meme structure where it tells the same mimetic story over and over and over again. It uses the same memes within it, Moogles, Chocobos,
magic, technology.
Yes, the battle between magic and technology.
Yep.
Imprisonment is also a big thing, and big weapons that destroy, like, the earth, conservation. These are all
characters that don't talk.
Right. Dramatic.
Yeah.
Good versus evil.
Brooding.
Yes, lots of brooding. there are many memes within the universe of Final Fantasy.
I love where this is going.
Right, and so I'm not saying that, like, yes, Moogles are silly, and the gold saucer was fun and silly, and there are plenty of examples like that.
There's a man who literally has a gun for an arm.
Yeah, no,
that's
I get that.
Cartoony.
There's
but I'm saying
that's
like
silly.
But that's not like Bugs Bunny. That who are the characters in the Kingdom Hearts? You have like the genie from Aladdin, and you have like Donald Duck and stuff, and it's like, come on. This is no business to being in a Final Fantasy or in the same place with Final Fantasy characters, in my opinion, because it doesn't, like, the closest I would come would be like Air Guys, or however you pronounce it, where it was the characters are in a fighting scenario with other characters. They're also, I think, Square characters. To me, that's a little, I can abide that a little bit better, because it's not trying to be something else. But you know what I'm saying? Maybe it's because I love Final Fantasy so much. I think that's probably part of it. It's like, I love it so much.
It's funny because, last time we were here, this was the ending discussion as we were leaving.
Yeah.
This very heated debate came up.
Yeah.
It's cool. I like that you're saying it, like, because you and I are so similar in that aspect. Like, I fucking love everything Final Fantasy. I don't care. I fucking buy it.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
Right.
And so...
if they put it out, you're buying it.
Very, very highly
Me
likely.
too.
So it's crazy, though, in the Kingdom Hearts aspect that, like, I take it as a twofold thing, whereas, like, number one, there's more Final Fantasy for me to get, and I'm going to get it. And number two, like, I see it as more of like a side story. Like, it's an alternate universe almost, and they even kind of say, because everything takes place in its own world. You have the
spin-off comic version,
the Little Mermaid world, and then like all the people from
Little Mermaid.
That's the choice I made.
Come on, man. Sebastian the Crab, Under the Sea.
They're the worst levels.
This is not Final Fantasy level, man. This is Ursula versus the Triton, the Sea King, man. This is not.
Those Final Fantasy characters are not in that world. They show up in the main world hub, but they don't flood into the Disney world. Now, they both might meet.
Don't they coexist in some ways?
But when they do, they coexist in the middle world where everybody comes together. So, like, the Disney characters, the Final Fantasy characters, and Sora all meet with all the Heartless and all the...
Okay.
So, but they don't bleed into worlds. and I don't think we ever visit a Final Fantasy world.
So wait, how does that work exactly? So Cloud's in it, right?
Cloud is in it,
but how does that work? Exactly?
They've somehow their world has merged into this middle world that Sora also occupies, which is like the hub world or the key world, similar to New York.
It's like Traverse Town.
In Dark Tower.
Dark Tower, like how it's the Keystone City. I think that's more of the aspect that it's treated as. Like, they don't bleed over, but they all meet in this central area.
And this is like consistent throughout all the
As far as I know, I don't think I've ever seen a Final Fantasy character in the Disney worlds. They generally only show up in the worlds made for the existence. So like, you know,
that is true.
Yeah, they show up in like the castle areas, like outside
They're
of
new areas specifically made for Kingdom Hearts. They don't come from any Disney background or
so
material.
the Disney stuff is just Disney.
I remain skeptical.
Fair enough, yeah.
But at least I feel good that Sephiroth's not drinking a pina colada with Daffy Duck.
Fair enough. Well, in your defense, Sephiroth, the first fight only does show up in the Colosseum level from the Hercules cartoon.
But it's because you
wait
fight
a
him
second.
as a
That
boss,
sounds
that's
like
it.
a pretty big merging to me.
But in fairness, the Hercules Colosseum level is treated as just the giant arena level where all you do is fight bosses or waves of enemies.
It's like a boss rush area.
Yes. So it's
And then the secret boss is Sephiroth.
sure. So in your this is where it's getting a little muddy. But goddamn it, everything in Kingdom Hearts is muddy.
Fuck it. Like, all right, even if you love Final Fantasy, whatever, it's just like you're playing Kingdom Hearts for whatever, and then Sephiroth pops up as a secret boss. That's just awesome.
But then it also sucks because he's voiced by Lance Bass from NSYNC.
Really?
Oh, okay. You just
In Kingdom Hearts 1, Sephiroth is voiced by Lance Bass.
That's really weird.
Yeah. And Cloud is voiced by one of the dudes from Supernatural.
I thought it was Angel. David Boreanaz.
I don't
Wasn't
believe
he
it
one
is.
of them?
No.
He's somebody.
None of these things you're telling me are selling.
Is it
me.
Squall?
I know.
This is not
Is
working.
Squall? Is Squall in one of the Kingdom Hearts games?
Yes, and I think that
That's
might be
David Boreanaz.
I think that's David
Matt Damon?
Boreanaz.
What'd you say?
Yeah.
Man, I wish
Squall,
it was Matt
played by
Damon.
Matt Damon.
I would watch that movie.
Squall.
Squall. Who would be Cypher?
Matt Damon. School.
School. All right, well, I think we should wrap this up here, and then we're going to be back pretty soon. But Dan,
We will be back.
for real, man, God damn it, I hope this goes somewhere because
Thanks, man.
I'm more impressed every time I come see it.
Thanks.
If you can see it, you can't
what she
believe
said.
it.
And
There's nothing to it.
I'm excited that I hope I'm not giving too much away, but that you're going to get this out to the people soon and let people experience it.
That's what I think we're gonna do.
Yeah, I think that is a great route to go, and let them see it because man, you've got something here that even in like the limited VR. Because after we came here, you know, I started looking into VR more. I know some of the games that are out. My buddy does have a Vive.
Okay. Yeah.
But
Vive is really good.
it's really good, but I don't see things like Life of Lawn in the. You know, I see a lot of stand in this area and shoot these Vikings with this bow and arrow, or stand in this area and shoot these zombies with this Desert Eagle in this construction zone.
A lot of shooters.
I see a lot of that. I don't see a lot of the more world building story aspect that you are striving for, and that's what I respect. And
Thank you.
I fucking hope that you go farther with it, brother. So, wish you the best, man.
Thank you, man.
Say something nice, Ryan.
I believe you can fly.
Do you believe I can touch the sky?
No, Dan, thank you as always for hosting us,
for
man.
sure, guys.
I fucking love just talking to you in general.
Yeah, man. You
You're
guys
really
are
cool,
awesome.
dude.
You guys
Thank
are
you so
awesome.
much. Life of Lawn, everybody.
Thank
Life
you.
of Lawn, block interval.
It's really a fantastic game. Please do check it out, research it, look it up. It's so much potential and promise.
I fucking love it, man. You should just sell plushies of Yep
Yeah,
and just recoup all those costs.
I would love to. I would love to have a
All right, guys.
That'd be great.
I'm Kyle,
I'm Ryan.
and this is,
I'm Dan.
and we'll catch you next time. Thanks, everybody.
Hi, this is Ryan, and if you liked what you just saw or listened to, please check us out at experiencegrind.com. Find us on facebook.com/experiencegrind, at Twitter over at twitter.com/expgrindpodcast, where Kyle's tweeting out a lot of stuff all the time. And then you can always find us, our podcast, on iTunes, Stitcher, Twitch, or even on YouTube. Find us, just search Experience Grind Podcast. We don't have a channel yet. Stuff's super easy to find. But please subscribe. We'll get there to you, make it even easier. And as always, if you like what you saw, we cover mini games and episodes every week. There's sure to be something you love. And as always, grind out.
There you go. Oh, hey. That's already pretty cool.
Put my drink right here.
Yep.
Ooh.
Oh, this is amazing. I like the layout, I guess. Pull trigger to grab. Ah! What? The leaves look so good.
Shit, there's another one.
That was
Man,
a
this
nice
thing looks
cut.
so fucking realistic, dude. Like in your face.
Mm-hmm.
Can I shoot myself? Ah, I totally can. I'm shooting through the hole and god damn, dude. Gets out of everything. Can I flick my digital beam? Whoa, bro. See you over there. This thing looks really fucking cool, like, as an in-game thing. Oh my god, it's got one-to-one as I pull the trigger.
Look at the leaves in that. Like,
I really like this, how the autopilot gets fucked up. Oh, here you are, buddy. Yeah!
you had the ball.
Nameless baseball. We're going through life. What up, buddy? You look so cute.
You should shoot the laser. Pick it up.
Yeah. Yeah. Shoot it around him. He follows.
What? Bro, you like that? Come down.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I honestly don't know how to back up. Oh, okay.
Ah! Suddenly went to 4D.
Yeah, I don't know where that air is coming from.
Couldn't hear you very well when there was a pounding drum.
So you heard everything?
Oh yeah.
God damn it. Well, it was going to be a good surprise and you ruined it, so. Oh. This is all new. I want more.